Milestone took a year off making Supercross games, but they're back this year with Monster Energy Supercross 25, the official game. And yeah, there's some pretty interesting changes for this year, including dynamic ruts and a move to Unreal Engine 5. I've been playing this game for the last week, so let's have a look and see if it's worth picking up. So Supercross 25 is based on the AMA Supercross Championship in America, and in case you weren't aware, this series is actually kind of massive. It's a really big deal in the US, and viewership-wise, it's quite similar to IndyCar. Like, a lot of people watch this. This series is motocross racing as well, on short, stadium-sized tracks. This means there's less kind of flat-out straights and high-speed corners, and more like hairpins and lots of jumps. What this means as a racing game is that it plays quite differently to every other racing game. This isn't usually a game about finding racing lines and braking and things like that. It's mostly about how you can take jumps in an optimal pattern for speed. There is a lot of things you can do on the grounds, like how you kind of ride the bike and use the banking and things like that, but you'll find the most time in the game in the air. Included in this game are riders from the 250cc East and West Championships and the 450cc AMA Supercross Championship. There are also all the tracks included from the current season. This is new in this game, and it's kind of wild that the previous games didn't have it, but the current layouts from this season of racing are included, with accurate layouts for each track, and Milestone have even said that they'll go back into the game and patch it as we move forward if there's any small tweaks to layouts for races that actually haven't happened in real life yet. Along with these official tracks, there are some fictional motocross tracks that Milestone have made, as well as some straight line rhythm tracks, including one that's in the shadow of the space shuttle. Now, it's probably worth saying before I get further into this review that I have not played any of the previous games in this series. I've played Motocross Madness and a lot of MTX Motor Tracks like years ago. I also watched a fair few videos about the previous games, and these motocross or supercross YouTubers make it look really easy, so I thought I'd smash it, and I did not. I am actually terrible at this game. I also have that like race driver problem where I just outright refuse to like lower the difficulty or introduce driving aids, and I do not recommend this. You should lower the difficulty if you're struggling. I eventually did, and I had a much better time once I did. Anyway, I haven't played the previous games, so this isn't a one-to-one comparison with last year's games, but this is kind of more for someone a little bit newer to the series. In terms of difficulty, though, on the topic of that, it's worth acknowledging that this kind of exists next to Milestone's other games, including MotoGP, which they also develop, and both Supercross and MotoGP are like really difficult in my opinion. They are probably the hardest console races that you can play, and it's worth being aware of that. I find these games really challenging, but quite satisfying when you get them right. Handling wise, there are a lot of things that you can do to manipulate the bike into doing what you want, and this game is fairly good at telling you what you can do. In the tutorial, there's like a Supercross Academy, and it will tell you how to do everything, but it won't tell you why you should do it, and that's something that I really struggled with. I actually ended up looking at like YouTube videos for previous games for like tips and tricks for how to be fast at this game, because the game just doesn't tell you. It says that you can use the right stick to move your rider's weight, but should you be like leaning into corners, or should you be leaning out from corners? Should you be leaning forward or back? The game doesn't kind of tell you. I sort of picked up the preload kind of system because I've played older motocross games where you lean back on the way into a jump and then kind of lean forward at the lip of the jump. But the game doesn't tell you this. It kind of just assumes that you know it. There are also whips and scrubs in this game, and you can use the rear brake in corners, and there's all sorts of stuff. It's quite deep, and it tells you how to do all these things, just not when you should be doing them. It's actually really difficult to like time your rhythm over these jumps, and I'm sure it would be easier if you knew how to use all these tools to your benefit. If you're a big Supercross fan, you're already going to know all of these things, so this is like not an issue for you, but for me it was. I also encountered like a few glitchy bits in the physics as well. For example, if you do like a quick 180 on the ground, your bike kind of like rockets backwards, at a very high speed, which is quite funny. Otherwise, the bike physics felt good. It kind of moves around a bit. I kind of like it. They've apparently overhauled the physics completely since the previous game, including like counterbalancing the weight of the bike in corners, which I ended up actually doing quite a lot of, as well as keeping the weight backwards a lot of the time, I learnt from watching YouTube videos. Something new to the game this year are dynamic ruts in the track. This is the coolest feature in this year's game. The ruts appear over a race run as each corner kind of gets cut up. It is frustrating to ride on at points, and it does sometimes feel slightly buggy where it is. But honestly, it's still awesome. It makes me feel like I'm playing like Sega Rally Revo for the first time with the track deformation. It means that the last lap of the race, like there's huge like banks of like dirt on the apexes of corners and stuff in the middle of corners, and if you go up on them you can like fall off your bike, and it's cool. I think this feature's really good. It's a thumbs up for me. Also new to the game this year is Unreal Engine 5. Now this means that this game should look better than the previous one on Unreal Engine 4, but honestly, I don't know. It definitely looks different. I feel like the lighting feels different for sure. It almost feels like foggier or something. I don't know if that's possible, but yeah, if you put them back to back, there is a bit of a difference. I think things look quite good in this game. From a distance, I think the stadium features look good. I think the cloth features on the riders is fairly good, and the bikes generally look fairly nice, but there is kind of like a bit of a lack of polish in some ways. The fireworks leading into a race event simultaneously look pretty modern, but also like 2008 in video gaming as well. And my feeling with this game is that the stadiums are missing a little bit of atmosphere. I'm not sure what's causing this. Maybe it needs more like NPCs standing around the track, but the stadium feels kind of dead at times, like you're in a deserted big room with a crowd gif pasted around the edges. But yeah, on the topic of NPCs, there are marshals in this game. When you or somebody else crashes their bike, they'll start waving a yellow flag, which is like pretty good, and it's pretty cool to see as well. The AI in single player has been worked on for this game, and it's sometimes very good and sometimes not so good. For starters, they get in your way all the time. It reminds me a lot of Milestone's MotoGP games. This is actually, I think, kind of a good thing. It's not like you're playing EA F1 games where often you can like swerve at the AI and they'll just like brake and just like get out of the way. In this game, the AI will race you. Like they'll go full elbows out, they'll go hard. But at the same time, it's annoying when there's just too many of them and you end up getting like landed on and stuff. The AI also has like a 0.000 second reaction time to the gate dropping, but their bikes have like 4 horsepower down the main straight. So it's quite easy to get the whole shot, everyone jumps away, and then you just pass them before the first corner. Otherwise, the AI seems okay, if slightly inconsistent. I'll be honest, in this kind of racing, it feels more like I'm racing the track rather than the other riders. It's not like I'm making passing moves under brakes or like defending or anything. I'm just kind of riding past them in a straight line. And for that, the AI seemed pretty good. Included in the AI for this year is Neural AI. This is in the MotoGP games as well. It's like, I think it's a bit of machine learning is how they make it. And it means the riders all run different lines and strategies, which did seem accurate. They were doing that. Apparently they also react to the player as well and can even become aggressive if you're kind of running them out of road. Riders have favorite tracks and supposedly a distinct personality. I couldn't really tell these things just by riding near them. It sort of feels like the driver system in the Forza games. I'm sure there's like a huge amount of maths going on behind the scenes with these riders, but you just can't kind of tell when you're racing them. They just feel like normal AI. I'm sure the die-hard Supercross fans will know the difference between certain riders and maybe see some be really fast at certain tracks, but I couldn't really see that myself. Another complaint about the AI was from previous games about it being too easy. Apparently on max difficulty, they are a lot harder to beat now. I can't verify this myself, of course, but I'm excited to see what the pros think. In terms of multiplayer, this game is full crossplay. I think that's great. Controller is the optimum way to play this game. So it's a level field for everyone, even us playing on PC. I haven't tried multiplayer during the review period as the game isn't out and like no one's playing it. But I will say there is a very dedicated Supercross community from what I've seen, and I'm sure if you reach out a bit, you'll have no trouble finding people to race against. Milestone has planned 12 month-long ranked multiplayer seasons. Each one has a different theme, like rewards and a leaderboard reset. The bulk of this game in single player though is going to be in the career mode, where you start the game in the fictional Futures series before moving on to the 250cc series and then to 450. It's similar to the MotoGP games where there's like different acts over a few races where you're given like a goal to beat a certain rider, and depending on how you go, it'll like branch off in different directions. There's also a bike improvement feature where you get your team to improve certain parts of your bike. And of course, a social media feature where people will at you on the internet and you can respond in the most antagonistic way possible. Like in other Milestone games as well, there is a lot of customization. You can customize a huge amount of stuff on your bike and your rider. There are a bunch of included things which seem new for the butt patch, which are very funny. And there is a full course editor in this game. So if you're into designing your own tracks, it's not quite Trackmania, but it does look pretty good. I tried it myself. I'm not creative enough for it, to be honest, but it is pretty powerful and you can create some pretty cool stuff in it. I enjoyed my time playing Supercross 25 and I'm excited to get stuck into it more this week. For fans of the sport, I'm sure it's super great to get all the official riders and tracks for the season. For me, I found it difficult to ride and I found it frustrating in some ways to get the rhythm down, but when you do nail it, it is extremely satisfying. And when you do get a really close fight for the win, which I just did in my most recent game before recording this, it was like 3 of us battling, like kind of bombing each other at each hairpin right up to the finish line. It's really, really fun. I gave Supercross 25 3 out of 5 stars. And I'm excited to play some more of it. If you want to see more reviews for racing games, you can go to overtake.gg and look in our reviews category. If you like this review, you can leave a like and you can subscribe to Overtake for more racing game videos. Please let us know your thoughts down below on the game and whether you'll be picking it up. And if you want to see more motocross on the channel. I've never played MX bikes, for example, but so many people say it's amazing. And I've played like Kart Racing Pro, so same developer. Maybe I'll have to play that. But yeah, we'll have to see. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.